Is fantasy limited to the confines of imagination? This question was asked by the scheming man in the beginning of the game. This simple yet complex question is the main theme of Metaphor ReFantazio. At first, my answer to his question was yes, because in our world, magic, dragons, and fish with goddamn human feet don't exist. I'm sorry, but whoever imagined this shit has no limitation on their mind and needs to be put in a psychiatric facility. If I could go back in time and tell myself how close-minded I was, I would. The story that unfolds in Metaphor ReFantazio has the power to reshape your entire view of fantasy. It breaks free from the unusual tropes, unshackling your imagination from limitations you may not have even realized were there. Through its diverse cast of characters, the game explores a wide range of beliefs and ideas. Some profound, some questionable, and some dumb as hell. But all of them show that anyone from any background can dream, believe, and imagine. As you journey through this incredible world, the boundaries between what's possible and impossible begin to blur, and by the time you reach the end, your mind and heart may be more open than ever before. Today's gaming space, where most of the community is hyper-fixated on photorealistic graphics, Metaphor ReFantazio takes a different approach. The world looks as if it was handcrafted by a painter. To the beautiful cities and beyond, it feels like each stroke of the paintbrush was carefully thought out before placing it on the canvas. This art style beautifully captures the game's atmosphere and amplifies its emotional tone, enriching the fantasy aesthetic and setting it apart with a distinct visual identity. The user interface feels like a natural extension of the game's personality, with sleek, stylish menus that perfectly complements its cel-shaded presentation. Complementing the stunning visuals is a powerful and emotionally rich soundtrack that elevates every moment. The orchestra score is enchanting, at times sweeping and triumphant, filling me with a sense of empowerment and purpose, while in quieter moments, it slows down to a more introspective tone, drawing my attention to the weight of the dialogue and the story. This dynamic range in the music deepens the emotional impact of each scene. Together, the visuals and soundtrack create a fully immersive sensory experience that feels imaginative, cinematic, and is truly unforgettable. At the core of Metaphor ReFantazio's combat is the press turn system, a strategic mechanic that rewards exploiting enemy weaknesses with extra turns while penalizing poor decisions. The archetype system adds a unique layer to that combat by allowing characters to assume different roles through class-like transformations. Each archetype comes with its own set of skills and elemental strengths, letting you build party setups that directly play into the press turn system. Whether focusing on offense, defense, or support, you can mix and match archetypes to find synergy that maximizes efficiency in battle. The flexibility to switch roles keeps combat fresh and strategic, encouraging players to consistently adapt and experiment as new challenges arise. Think of each encounter as a puzzle where knowledge of elemental affinities and smart skill usage can tip the tide of battle. This system keeps even routine fights engaging, as every move carries weight and the potential to either extend your momentum or lose control of the field. Enemy variety is one of the few areas that is lacking. As you progress through the game, it becomes clear that many encounters reuse the same enemy types with minimal changes beyond color swaps or stat tweaks. This repetition can make standard battles feel predictable, especially during long dungeon segments. While the combat system remains engaging, a broader range of enemy behaviors and formations would have added more depth and challenge to regular encounters. Even though the game may lack variety in enemy types, it makes up for it in visual design. Most enemies, from undead creatures and demi-humans to monstrous beasts, feel right at home in the game's rich fantasy setting. Then there's the humans. This enemy type must have been the result of one of Atlas's artists being on psychedelic drugs, because only a person under the influence of an illegal substance would create some shit like this. Like, how did this get approved by the higher-ups? We have an evil grandma holding a pan with some eggs in it, a creature that won't fully hatch out of its egg, and I don't even know what the fuck this is supposed to be. While the enemy variety may be limited and some designs feel like they came straight out of a fever dream, the overall visual direction maintains a strong sense of identity that fits perfectly within the game's surreal and atmospheric world. The events of the story take place after the king is violently stabbed in his sleep like a damn prison inmate by the royal army's greatest hero, Luis. Using what he learned from Game of Thrones, Luis will go to any length to become king. Usually in such circumstances, the next family member in line would inherit the throne. Unfortunately, the king's son has been inflicted with the deadly version of the Sleeping Beauty curse, placed on him by enemies of the throne. Some speculate that Luis, with his extensive knowledge in Game of Thrones tactics, could be behind this as well. With the king dead and the prince incapacitated, the throne is up for grabs, and the person with the most power and popularity will claim it. You play as a funny-looking young man with a severe case of heterochromia. He is from the Eldia tribe, a race of people who's ostracized by society. They face discrimination and prejudice because the rest of the world believes their tribe is tainted with the inheritance of forbidden magic. Accompanying the boy is a fairy named Gallia, who acts as your guide, advisor, and music specialist. Our hero's main objective is to lift the curse from the prince so that he can ascend the throne. However, the only way to do that is by taking out Luis. The journey to your goal in Metaphor ReFantazio is anything but simple. It's a pilgrimage through a world that holds a mirror to our own, a world plagued by corruption, division, and fear. As you travel from city to city, your eyes are open. You see a kingdom torn apart by the same forces that haunt our reality: government corruption, weaponized religion, classism, and racism. These aren't just plot devices, they are truth, unflinching and raw. In this world, power does not belong to the noble or the kind. It belongs to those bold enough to seize it and reckless enough to mold the world in their own image. One faction seeks to force evolution through strength alone, believing that only the powerful deserve to survive. Another hides behind religion, using faith as a tool to change minds and hearts. But then there's your path, the path of hope, of compassion, yearning for a world unshackled from prejudice, corruption, and fear. What begins as a quest to lift the curse of a fallen prince transforms into something much greater, a fight for the soul of an entire kingdom. The people who join you on this journey are not just warriors, they are broken and burdened. Each companion carries trauma, doubts, and dreams that feel just out of reach. But through connection, trust, and empathy, you help them find the strength to believe in themselves again. And as they come to believe in you, your dreams begin to spread. It lights a fire in the hearts of commoners and outcasts, the lost and the hopeless. Your resolve becomes theirs. Your dream becomes a movement. But it will not come without sacrifice. The wicked will lie, deceive, and kill to maintain control. You will witness how injustice can twist even the kindest soul, how power corrupts, and how even the dreamer can be broken by reality. You will see heroes fall and villains born from pain. And in those moments, you will be forced to ask yourself what kind of world you want to fight for. If you're anything like me, the closer you get to the ending, the more you will begin to reflect, not just on the game, but in yourself. Metaphor ReFantazio teaches us that fantasy is not just escapism. Fantasy is potential. It is truth waiting to be realized. And the only thing that's holding it back is yourself. Look within. Face your fears. Confront your past. Do not be consumed by trauma. Transform it. Let your fears become strength. Let your doubts become conviction. This is the heart of the story. When you truly believe in yourself, you become the spark that lights the way for others. You become more than a hero. You become a symbol. So do not leave your dreams locked in your imagination. Do not let your fantasy stay a fantasy. Bring it to life. Shape it. Will it into existence, because the magic to change the world has always been inside you.